My wife never understood what I did for a living. To her, I was just a soldier, a man who wore uniforms and followed orders, a man who left early and came home late, a man who couldn't discuss his work because it was classified, a word she put in air quotes every time she said it. My name is Marcus, 38 years old. And on the day my divorce was finalized, my wife learned that some secrets are bigger than a marriage. We'd been together for 11 years, met when I was a young lieutenant stationed in Virginia. Jenna was a fitness instructor at a gym near the base, blonde, energetic, full of life. I fell hard. We married within a year. The problem started when my career advanced. Promotions meant longer hours. Deployments meant months away. Security clearances meant I couldn't explain why I'd be unreachable for weeks at a time. "You love your job more than me," she'd say. "It's not a job, it's a duty." Same difference, you're never here. She was right about one thing. I wasn't present enough. The demands of my work consumed me. I should have tried harder to maintain connection. But she was wrong about everything else. By year 8, the marriage was a formality. We slept in separate rooms. We spoke in logistics. And then, 18 months ago, she started spending more time at the gym. "Getting back in shape," she said. I didn't question it. I was too busy with work. But when the deployment ended and I came home early, I noticed things. New lingerie I'd never seen. Texts she'd delete quickly. A cologne on her clothes that wasn't mine. I'm trained to notice patterns, to detect inconsistencies, to gather intelligence. So I did. His name was Tyler Brooks, 29 years old, personal trainer at the base fitness center, the same gym where Jenna had started spending every evening. Tyler had security clearance for the base, basic level, nothing special. He trained military families, ran fitness classes, flirted with bored spouses. I discovered the affair the same way I discovered everything else, patiently, methodically, without emotion. Credit card records showed hotel charges near the base. Phone logs showed calls during my deployment, long calls late at night. Her location data showed visits to his apartment every Thursday, 18 months. The affair had been going on for nearly 2 years before I assembled the complete picture. I didn't confront her immediately. There was no tactical advantage in that. Instead, I consulted a military divorce attorney, understood my rights, protected my pension and benefits, and I gathered evidence not just for the divorce, though that was part of it. Tyler Brooks had security access to a military installation. He was having an affair with the spouse of a high-ranking officer. If I'd wanted to, I could have ended his career with a single phone call, but I didn't. Not out of mercy, out of strategy. Tyler thought I was a boring soldier. Jenna had probably told him I was mid-level, forgettable, destined for retirement at the same rank I'd held for years. She was wrong. 2 years ago, I'd been promoted to colonel. My current assignment, strategic defense consulting for the Joint Chiefs. My security clearance top secret, compartmentalized. My annual compensation, including housing allowance and deployment bonuses, approximately $185,000. My pension projection, $7,500 per month, guaranteed for life. Jenna had no idea. She'd stopped asking about my work years ago, now that ignorance would cost her everything. Let me explain something about military compensation that most civilians don't understand. Base salary is public. Anyone can look it up. A colonel with 20 years of service makes approximately $140,000 per year before allowances. But that's not the complete picture. Housing allowance in our area, $36,000 annually. Deployment and hazard pay during my overseas assignments, $15,000, $25,000 per tour. Special duty compensation for classified work. Additional stipends that don't appear on standard paperwork. I also had 15 years of contributions to the Thrift Savings Plan, conservative investments, steady growth. Current balance, approximately $380,000, and the pension. The military pension is one of the most valuable retirement benefits in existence. At my rank, with my years of service, I'd be entitled to roughly $7,500 per month, $90,000 per year, inflation adjusted, for the rest of my life. That pension alone was worth over $1.5 million in present value. Jenna knew none of this. When we married, I was making $48,000 a year as a junior officer. She'd never updated her mental picture of my income. She thought she was divorcing a boring soldier with modest savings and an uncertain future. She was divorcing a colonel with a 7-figure net worth. But the most important thing she didn't know was this. I'd been assigned to a high-visibility position exactly 3 weeks before our divorce hearing. Strategic advisor to the National Security Council. The appointment came with press coverage. A small story, buried in defense publications, but public nonetheless. My photo, my name, my new role. I didn't tell Jenna. I didn't tell anyone outside the secure community. Meanwhile, I prepared for the divorce. My attorney was a retired JAG officer who specialized in military divorces. He understood the complexities. "She doesn't know about the NSC appointment?" he asked. "No. Or the pension valuation? She thinks I make $80,000 a year." He smiled slightly. "This will be interesting." The hearing was scheduled for March 15th. I'd taken leave specifically for it. Jenna had hired an aggressive civilian attorney. His strategy was clear. Paint me as an absent, emotionally unavailable husband who prioritized work over marriage. Argue that she deserved significant alimony and a portion of my retirement. He'd requested financial disclosure. I provided everything required by law, nothing more. The morning of the hearing, I put on my service dress uniform. Full medals, every ribbon I'd earned over 20 years. I hadn't worn it in civilian court before. Most veterans don't. But this wasn't an ordinary hearing. When I walked into the courtroom, Jenna's face registered confusion. She'd expected me in a suit. The uniform changed the calculus somehow, made my rank visible, tangible. Her attorney whispered something to her. She nodded, still smiling. She thought she knew what was coming. She was wrong. The hearing began at 9 a.m. Jenna's attorney spoke first. He painted the expected picture. A neglectful husband, a wife left alone for months at a time, emotional abandonment masked as military duty. "My client deserves fair compensation for 11 years of sacrifice," he concluded, "including a substantial portion of Mr. Collins's military pension." The judge nodded, turned to my attorney. "Before we proceed with financial matters," my attorney said, "we'd like to update the court on my client's current military status. There have been developments since the initial filings." Jenna looked confused. My attorney handed a document to the judge. 3 weeks ago, Colonel Collins was appointed strategic advisor to the National Security Council. This is a matter of public record, now appearing in defense publications. The judge's eyebrows rose. He looked at me. "Colonel Collins, please confirm your current rank and position for the record." I stood. "Your Honor, I am Colonel Marcus Collins, United States Army. Current assignment, Strategic Advisor to the National Security Council. Security clearance, top secret, sensitive compartmentalized information." The courtroom was silent. Jenna's face had lost all color. Her attorney was furiously flipping through papers. "Your Honor," he started, "we'd also like to submit updated financial documentation," my attorney continued, "including accurate pension valuations, investment accounts, and total compensation figures." He handed another folder to the judge, to Jenna's attorney, to Jenna herself. I watched her read the numbers. Her hands were trembling. $185,000 annual compensation, $380,000 in retirement accounts, a pension valued at over $1.5 million. "Your Honor," my attorney continued, "we'd also like to note that Mrs. Collins has been engaged in an extramarital affair for approximately 18 months. The affair partner is Tyler Brooks, a personal trainer with base access. We have documented evidence of this relationship." He presented the folder. Credit card statements, location data, text message records. Given the documented adultery and the significant income disparity that actually exists in my client's favor, we request that the petition for alimony be dismissed. Jenna's attorney tried to recover. "Your Honor, regardless of Colonel Collins's income, my client was emotionally involved with another man for 2 years, the judge interrupted. He'd been reading the evidence folder, while her husband was serving in classified military operations. Silence. The judge set down the folder. "Based on the evidence presented, I'm denying the petition for alimony. Mrs. Collins will receive equitable distribution of marital assets acquired during the marriage. Nothing more." The military pension accrued largely before and through service that Mrs. Collins has characterized as boring remains Colonel Collins's separate property. Jenna started to cry. Not performance tears, real ones. Her attorney gathered his papers. The hearing was essentially over. As I walked toward the exit, Jenna stepped in front of me. "Marcus, I didn't know." "I know you didn't. You stopped asking years ago. Can we talk? Maybe there's nothing to discuss." The judge was very clear. I walked out into the March sunlight. My attorney followed. "That went well," he said. "It went exactly as expected." "What now?" I looked at the courthouse behind me, the building where my marriage officially ended. "Now I go back to work. There's a briefing at 1400 hours. It's been 14 months since that hearing. The NSC appointment led to others. I'm now consulting on long-term strategic initiatives. The work is demanding, classified, and exactly what I'm suited for." Jenna moved back to her hometown. She works at a gym there. Not as a client, as an employee. I don't know more than that. I don't ask. Tyler Brooks lost his base access privileges, not because of me, because of a separate incident involving another military spouse. His pattern caught up with him. I live on base now, a smaller house than we had, but I don't need much space. I run 5 miles every morning. I eat at the officer's mess most evenings. The routine suits me. My younger brother visited last month, first time in 3 years. We talked about our father, a veteran himself, passed away when I was in my 20s, about what service means, about sacrifice. She had no idea who she was married to, he said. She knew who I was. She just didn't know what I did. Is there a difference? I thought about it. Maybe not. Some evenings I sit on my back porch and look at the base lights. I think about the years with Jenna, the distance that grew between us, the parts of myself I couldn't share because clearance didn't allow it. I could have done better. I acknowledge that. But I did my duty. To my country, to my career, to the oath I swore when I was 22 years old. She called me boring, said I was just following orders. She never understood that some orders are worth following, and some silences are worth keeping.